Oh, there you are, Diana. Did you find everything you wanted? Yes, thank you, Mrs. X. My room's lovely. Then we go straight away and find Laurie. I told him I'd bring you out the moment you arrived.
You know, I haven't seen him since I was here at Christmas. Will he be sorry to leave Cambridge?
Oh, no, except that he's been very happy there. But then he's young and looks forward like you do, and I'm old and look back. That's the chief difference between us.
I was thrilled to hear he got his running blue.
He's done wonderfully well there. Then he's done wonderfully well in everything ever since he was born. Oh, have they letter posted for me, Charlotte? But being his mother, I suppose I shouldn't say that.
Being his mother, you're just the one person to say it.
It's a grand day, Lord be the God. But we could do with a drop of rain. And Miss Diana.
Johnny, my sweet.
Me 7 blessings on you for that, a Cushla McCree. I'll wager it you has the boy's heart scalded. And he can't keep away from Biddlecup. It's herself has grown into the putty colleen, ma'am. 20 years ago, she was only knee-high to a daisy. 10 years after, she'd reached up to like of a rose tree. And what's he after now? If they don't put a weight on your head, in next to no time, you'll be the height of a sunflower, so you will.
And how's your wife's rheumatism?
Oh, thank you kindly for asking, miss. It's myself is not making any great moan about it. It keeps her quiet. Between you and me and the wheelbarrow, miss, it's grand for keeping her quiet, so it is.
Tell her I'll come and see her in the morning.
Oh, thank you kindly, ma'am.
Dear old Johnny.
Hello, Diana.
Hi, Laurie.
No, I can't shake hands. I'm all horsey. I couldn't kiss you in front of Mother.
What nonsense. Why not in front of me?
Oh, I'm old-fashioned. I know what mothers are for. Anyway, not in front of Garbo. She's jealous.
We're going down to the village, darling. Will you come with us?
Oh, I'd love to, but I got to exercise Garbo.
Oh, can't one of the grooms do that?
Good heavens, no. I promised.
Promised who?
Why, Garbo, didn't I?
We'll see you at tea, then.
No, not tea. We're going rather a long way.
Dinner, then.
All right, dinner. See you then, Diana?
Good, yes.
That's grand. Bye.
Good morning, Mrs. Baxter.
Well, Amy, what a surprise. I thought you had a good job in London.
So I had, Mrs. Baxter. But I came back because of Mother's feet.
Oh, yes. How are they?
They swell up. But of course, when I'm here, they don't. She can sit upstairs while I mind the shop.
I call that very dutiful of you. Oh, Amy, my dear, I asked your mother to get me down some special knitting wool from London.
Yes, Mrs. Baxter. Came this morning. I got it upstairs. If you'll excuse me.
She's very pretty. Oh, she was such a frail little thing. At one time, they didn't think she'd grow up. She was just a bundle of nerves. Did you notice her little stammer? And that queer way of drumming with her fingers.
Here it is, Mrs. Baxter. Shall I have it sent up?
Oh, no, thank you. I'll take it.
Good morning. Hello.
Hello.
See you tonight. Don't forget dinner.
Yes, Mrs. Baxter. How is it here?
I want to talk to you, frankly and unreservedly, because in some ways I regard you as my daughter. Now I come naturally to Laurie. It's my dearest wish that he should ask you to marry him.
But Mrs. Baxter...
Just one word more. You've known each other since you were children, and he's deeply attached to you. I think I've always hoped. Well, I want to know if I can still cherish that hope.
Well, it's rather up to Laurie, isn't it? I'm not going to set my cap at him. And I'm not going to try and catch him. Anyhow, I haven't lost my head or my heart to Laurie.
But you could.
Perhaps.
There isn't anyone else.
Definitely no. Mrs. Baxter, thank you so much for talking to me about this. I couldn't say very much myself.
Of course not.
But if... Well, I should be very, very happy.
My dear, I'm so worried about him.
Worried?
When I said he never caused me any anxiety, I was hardly speaking the truth. Did you notice the way he wouldn't kiss you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, yes, you did. Now, don't be a goose. Any girl would. You can't deceive me. And the way he left us after dinner. With him, it's all his horses and dogs and keeping fit. Well, it's all very well, but for a young man as vital and normal as Laurie, it's strange the little interest he takes in young women. He hardly seems to notice their existence.
I love you. More than anything in the world. More than anybody's ever loved anybody.
I never knew I could be so happy. Never since the world began, ever been happier than I am now. Lovely.
Will you marry me?
What'll your mother say?
Oh, she'll understand. When I tell her how much I love you, she'll always understand. We've never had a cross word. Will you?
Oh, Mr. Laurie. Yes.
Amy. You know, there was just one thing wrong with that. No more Mr. Laurie, huh? Never again. Just Laurie.
Now, Mr. Laurie. Laurie. I am done.
Things impossible. Utterly impossible.
Why?
The girl's impossible.
That's just being snobbish. I didn't know you were a snob.
And I didn't know you were a fool. Plenty of young men have lost their heads over shop girls before now. They haven't wanted to marry them.
Do you want me to live with her?
If you want to make her your mistress, at least I should have the sense to keep quiet. But if you marry her, you make her the mistress of this house. I can't keep quiet. I must go.
Mother, you can't.
Then she mustn't come here. Laurie, if you do this, it'll be the end of all my happiness.
Oh, it isn't fair. It's blackmail saying things like that.
It's not a question of what I say, but of what I feel.
Same with me.
All my plans and hopes, my life, ruined by the one I trusted and loved better than anybody in the world.
I must go and tell her.
Laurie, what are you going to tell her?
Pack her things and come up to town. We'll get married in the registry office.
Oh, beg your pardon, ma'am. I was wishing to put these with the others. What's the matter? Surely it's not crying you are on this beautiful day.
Johnny.
There. What is it? Hmm?
Hello? Hello, Amy? Oh, hello, Mr. Nugent. Can I see Amy?
Well, I'm afraid you can't, Mr. Laurie.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, she's upstairs.
Well, will you ask her to come down, please?
Well, I don't know what her father's going to say about it.
Oh, what's it got to do with her father?
Well, he said...
Hey, what's all this?
Oh, hello, Mr. Nugent. I want to see Amy.
Well, you can't very well, Mr. Laurie.
Oh, why not?
Well, she
Well,
came
it's-
home last...
Well, you see, she came in last night, all shivery-like, and she's upstairs in her room now, lying down.
That's right.
You telling me the truth?
Mr. Laurie.
I know, I'm sorry.
The top of the morning to you, says I. Oh, the top of the morning to you. It's a brand
Johnny.
new... How'd you get on down there?
Oh, they wouldn't let me see her. Said she was lying down. How do I know that's the truth? It may have been a plot between the Nugents and my mother.
Believe you me, Master Laurie. Your mother's the last person in this place to go plotting or planning. No, not with the Nugents nor anybody else.
Things we said to one another. Them in our lives. Dreadful.
Aye, and I bet you were sorry when you got the better of your temper. But it's happened before, and it'll happen again. Look here. If I didn't part them young roots from the old ones, I should never grow up. It's the same with you and your mother. Don't think I'm taking your part against her. I'm real sorry for her. And if I was her, I'd throw you across my knee and I'd bake the devil out of you.
You wouldn't, Johnny.
Believe that I would. I'd learn you. But if that girl is the core of your heart, and any bait in the world would make you throw it in the discard, it's the poor fellow I'd be thinking you are.
Johnny, why do you always say things that help?
Do I? Well, this is why. I don't tell you what I feel, but what's in your own heart, Master Laurie. Who'd care what I'd feel? But there's a deal of satisfaction to be had sometimes by hearing what's inside yourself coming out of the mouth of somebody else.
You're a wise old man.
There you go. Tell people what they want to hear, and you flatter them to the skies. I'm telling you, Solomon, the poor man, he couldn't hold a candle to me.
Mr. Lorry! Mr. Lorry! Please, Mr. Lorry, will you please come down to the shop at once, please, Mr. Lorry?
To the shop? Will I? Johnny, do you hear that? It wasn't a plot after all. You're always right. Here, give me that.
Oi!
My mum's by.
Doctor? I told you, Mr. Lorry, she was a bit poorly.
Well?
No, there's nothing to worry about, Mr. Lorry. Just a bit of a chill. Only she'd been asking for you, so I sent you, George.
And the doctor said it'll be all right for you to go up, Mr. Lorry, after he set her up with some medicine.
Yes, that's right.
She isn't in any pain. There's nothing I can...
Well, Doctor?
She was never very strong.
She's not ill, not badly ill.
No. You remember, I used to say I was afraid we mightn't pull her through to womanhood. I was right. A few minutes ago, quite quietly, her heart stopped beating. She's dead. There was no struggle, no suffering, no inkling when she dropped off to sleep she'd never wake up.
Oh, my dear, I'm so sorry. I can't bear to see you suffer so.
You're not sorry, you're glad. You are, aren't you? Glad she's out of the way, aren't you?
Oh, no, I don't know what to say. I only know I love you better than anything in the world.
You're glad the shop girl's out of the way. Oh, no, you can't help it. Why should you? It's natural. I just can't bear your pity. Mother's glad.
Do you tell me so? Well, maybe she's all right to be glad.
She can't help it, I know that.
Then why blame her? Looking at her way, it's best as it is. And I'm pleased that you know it, Master Lorry. It doesn't matter a brass farthing whether you were better than Amy or she was better than you, but you were different. Believe you me, Master Lorry, like this plant, love can fade and wither away. I'm thinking things always happen for the best, though it's hard sometimes for us to see it. And the way things happen to yourself and poor little Miss Amy, God rest her soul this day, will turn out good. She never knew anything but the happiness that you gave her. No pain, no suffering, no sense of the wickedness that's walking the world. Just a bit of happiness and nothing more. Nothing.
Mrs. Stapleton has called now.
Oh, good heavens. Very well, Charlotte, show her in.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is Mrs. Stapleton?
Well, a very old friend, but queer. New thought.
What's that?
Well, that's just the trouble. It's always something different. But if you really want to know, just mention the words new thought, and you'll see.
Mrs. Stapleton.
My dear, how are you? I was passing and I thought I just must drop in.
How sweet of you. This is Diana Hilton.
Of course, I've heard of you.
And I've heard of you.
Really? How nice of you.
Mrs. Baxter was telling me about you quite recently. We were talking about new thoughts.
Oh, then you're one of us. Oh, yes, I'm full of new thought. But then, there's such a lot of it about these days, isn't there? You know, it all began with my figure. Diet, you know. Oranges, when you have to eat the skin chopped up. And pine kernels. Oh, my dear, the things that pine kernels do to you, you've no idea. So I went to another doctor. Lady Laura recommended him to me.
Over there, please, Alice.
And he put me on to raw meat. Oh, my dear, too revolting. Only whenever I dined out, my friends gave me pine kernels and no raw meat, so I gave it up. But there was still a craving.
For raw meat?
Oh, no, my dear, but for something higher. And I found theosophy, so intellectual.
Thank you, Alice.
But, my dear, torturous. And I got so twisted that I had to be psychoanalyzed. My dear, you wouldn't believe. I became a permanent blush. I felt I was getting coarse. Oh, don't those look delicious? And that psychical research was the only thing. Spiritualism, you know. Nothing coarse about that. All spirit. Oh, may I have a little more milk, a drop? Well, 2 drops. Thank you. People laugh at me for being one thing one moment and another the next. Let them laugh. I always say it's all the same in the deeper unity. And what a house. It seems to have an aura of its own. Haven't you had experiences here? So much depends upon atmosphere. I was out saying that the other evening to Charles Dickens.
Charles Dickens?
My dear, I'm attending seances with the most marvelous medium, the most famous medium in the world, and Mr. Vincent, oh, you must have heard of him. And through him the other night, Charles Dickens spoke to us.
Really?
Oh, I know it sounds ridiculous, absurd. But the really funny thing about it is that it isn't. Really clever people believe it. People with brains. I've got no brains, I know that. But I've got faith. And there's overwhelming proof. Overwhelming. There's no doubt at all that the dead return. You see the dead? They aren't really dead. They just passed across to the next stage. And after all, we're all taught that, aren't we? And sometimes, for any special reason, some loved one they've left behind, for instance, they want to communicate. And they generally begin by table tapping and things like that. Of course, that sounds trivial, and people laugh and never get beyond that. That's why they laugh. But when you know they're there, then they can go further. Dear, I swear to you that I've actually seen with my own eyes and spoken to those whom I love. And in my ignorance, I thought were dead. I'm afraid I'm not very good at explanations, but it all means so much to me. In fact, everything. But I want to help others. I've brought a little book with me that explains it all in detail. I've had such a delicious tea, and I should so love to see your garden. Of course. You see, New Thought has helped me to appreciate nature. And I find if only one can absorb and realize the simplicity of creation, it puts one to power.
Bethel now?
Olivia, dearest, am I late?
No, dear, he hasn't arrived yet.
Oh, what a relief. To keep Mr. Vincent waiting.
But he'll be here any moment. Butter toast.
Oh, dearest, no. I'm on Rivita.
How splendid of you. But I find I get more in touch if I keep myself fortified. There he is. Oh, do you think he'll mind the toast?
Well, it is a little earthly, darling, but Mr. Vincent is so broad-minded. Dear Mr. Vincent. Dear Mr. Vincent.
A young gentleman has called, madam.
Yes, Giff.
Mr. Laurie Baxter, madam.
What on earth? Show him in. Laurie Baxter?
Yes, I was down at their place the other day, but I didn't see him. My dear, so sad. Some little girl that he was in love with died suddenly.
Mr. Baxter, madam.
How do you do, Mr. Baxter? This is Lady Laura Bethel.
How do you do?
Oh, it's such a long time since we've met. Do sit down. Will you have some tea?
No, thank you. Mrs. Stapleton, when you called to see my mother the other day, you left a little book by a Mr. Vincent.
The Mr. Vincent.
I should like to meet him,
He's coming here. Now. Any minute.
and I should like to attend one of his seances.
Oh, well, of course. We should have to ask Mr. Vincent.
Laura, this is more than coincidence. I feel it. I know it.
Mr. Vincent. Good afternoon, Mrs. Stapleton. Lady Laura.
Mr. Vincent, this is Mr. Baxter. Mr. Laurie Baxter.
How do you do? How do you do?
A most extraordinary thing's happened. I'm sure there's been some guidance.
Yes?
Mr. Baxter came here because he'd read your latest book and wanted to meet you, and here you are.
And he wants to attend one of your seances.
You're interested?
Well, I might be. Mr. Vincent, in your book you say it's an undisputed fact that we can communicate with those that have died.
Passed over.
Oh, please, let Mr. Baxter speak for himself. Every new science has its own jargon. Ours might be a bit strange. Yes?
Well, why are you so certain?
Mr. Baxter, I know your reputation as a runner. May I congratulate you on your blue? Now, when you do a mile in 4 minutes and whatever it is, how do you know you've done it in that exceptional time?
Oh, because there's a timekeeper with a stopwatch, I suppose.
And you trust him?
Yes, of course.
I'm certain for roughly the same reason. But at present, you've only got my word. There's no mystery about spiritualism. It's merely a natural law. Come here. Now, you heard that because a hammer caused a wire to vibrate. Now, in spiritualism, if we can only strike the right note, their vibrations are made known to us.
I see.
I should be only too pleased if you'd attend one of my sittings. You could then at least draw your own conclusions.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Vincent, if it's as simple as all that, stopwatches and vibrations, give me some proof. Show me something here and now.
I hardly think if only you would.
It's getting on. It's nearly 6. I have another appointment.
How can I believe if you only talk? Anybody can talk.
Very well. Mrs. Stapleton, may we use that table and have 4 chairs round it? Yes. Please.
Mr. Vincent has had the armchair.
Mr. Baxter, if I were a fake, I could guarantee to show you some startling to trick you into believing. We shall be in the hands of powers, outside and greater than ourselves. And if anything occurs, it will be the manifestation through me of those powers. Now, if we all sit perfectly quiet, please. Quiet with the silence of thought.
Yes. He can do with a rest, Bobby. He spends so much time with his science coach lately. He's so keen on getting that degree next term. Let's get this game out.
You need Mrs. Stapleton and her spirits to help you.
I wonder what happened to that little book she left here. You know, that one on spiritualism.
I don't know, darling. I thought you took it.
Oh, I thought you did.
No. I wonder...
What's your...
Oh, nothing.
Feeling all right?
Yes, of course. Why shouldn't I? Anything going to happen?
A good deal has been happening.
You were trying to make a fool of me.
You've been asleep.
Don't be ridiculous. I beg your pardon. I mean, of course I have. I don't go to sleep. Not in the daytime. Besides, I've been interested. More than interested. I've been watching you.
For how long?
I don't know, a few moments. Nothing's happened.
You remember we mentioned the time?
Yes, about 6.
Look at your watch.
8. It was 6. And I say I'm most awfully sorry.
Oh, there's no need to apologize. It was not the usual kind of sleep. You've been in a trance.
What's all this mean?
Mr. Baxter, when you were asleep, we'll call it that for the moment, you talked a good deal.
Talked?
Yes. There are several kinds of sleep. In some, the spirit, I'll put it as simply as we can, leaves the body, surrenders it for the time being, and enables another spirit to take possession of it. Control it, as we say. That's what's been happening to you. And when questioned, the spirit gave the name of Amy Nugent.
It's a trick. You've been spying into my private life.
Mr. Baxter, no.
Please, please. It's only natural Mr. Baxter should feel upset. May I ask you this? Is there anyone else in the world besides yourself who knows of an incident in which this Amy Nugent said to you, "No, not Mr. Lorry. Not Mr. Lorry"? I can understand your bewilderment and dismay, even a kind of fear. But there's no need for any of these things. And I need hardly tell you that all that has passed here is as sacred as the confessional or a doctor's consultation.
You mind if I'm alone for a bit? Sorry, Mrs. Stapleton. I'm afraid I must go.
Didn't I say guidance?
We mustn't lose sight of that young man.
I have all the notes.
Give them to me. He mustn't see them. At least, not yet.
I've read some of their stuff and discussed it. My dear fellow, 99 cases out of 100, it's fake. My own belief is that the 100th just hasn't been found out.
Yes, but...
They tell us that famous men and great philosophers return and talk to us through mediums. But they talk twaddle. If there are spirits, they may have souls, but they certainly haven't got brains.
Yes, but Mr. Morton...
The gullibility and credulity of the human race is without limit. And our disastrous power of believing what we want to believe. Psychoanalysis, Blackmanism, fascism, we're always at the mercy of the latest ism. And the world of today is the result. Don't you agree?
Yes, sir, that's true.
More hard thinking, that's what we want. And much more courage to discard beliefs that won't stand up to the process. You know, there's a moral duty that's very much neglected nowadays. And that's the duty of doubt. It's a very good antidote to fanaticism.
I wish Vincent could hear you.
Well, that's more than I can say. That's the trouble with us professional scientists. We've got the right ideas, but we don't spread them. We leave that to the people with the wrong ideas. Now, look here, Baxter. You've only got a few months before your final. You ought to get a first. You ought to first beat Oxford in the mile. Well, you may bring both off. But I tell you this much. If you go on as you are doing now, you'll do neither. Drop it, at any rate for a time, and then we can talk it over again.
Yes, sir, I think I agree with you. Thank you, I will.
Have some rare spirits.
No, thank you.
Oh, I forgot. Training. Home for the weekend?
Yes, sir. Diana Hilton's there.
Oh, of course. Do remember me to her.
Yes, I will, rather.
$22 and 1/5.
Well, it's not bad for grass.
Your advantage. Match point.
Service.
Oh, game and set. That's the last time I ever give you 30. Come on, let's have a drink. You know, you're pretty useful.
Thank you.
Can I have some of this?
Please.
Oh, that's done me the world of good, that, after a week of silence.
Are you going to get your first?
I don't know. My old hero says it will walk me.
And are you going to win the mile?
Well, I'm going to have a darn good try, but I have to run that. Diana,
Yes?
I haven't said very much, but it's been a great help having you around. You know, a sort of comfort.
I haven't said much either.
That's why it's been a help.
If you please, Mr. Lorry, there's someone to see you.
See me?
Yes, Mr. Lorry.
Who?
A gentleman, Mr. Lorry.
Well, what's his name?
It's a Mr. Vincent.
Vincent. Where is he?
He's in the drawing room.
All right, Alice, thank you.
Who is this Mr. Vincent?
A friend of mine I met in town.
Must you see him? Vincent.
Mr. Baxter, how do you do? Please forgive this intrusion.
Yes, of course.
But I wanted to come and tell you personally the date and place of my next sitting. It will be the day after tomorrow. Monday evening, 8:30 at Mrs. Stapleton's.
Thank you. I don't think I shall be there.
Mr. Baxter.
I mean, I'm sure I shall.
This is a great surprise. Very sudden change of mood after your interest and eagerness. You told me yourself you wished to attend one of my sittings, and I've gone to considerable trouble to make sure you had that opportunity.
I know, I'm sorry. But the fact is that I find it rather disturbing to my work. And play.
Play?
Running the mile in just over 4 minutes is rather a strenuous kind of play. I want all my self-control.
You want more than that, Mr. Baxter. You want endurance. And I must say you're not showing much endurance over this. After all, the last time we met, some very remarkable things happened.
You, apparently. I just had a good sleep.
If you're going to take that attitude...
No, sir, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I know it wasn't an ordinary kind of sleep.
Well, isn't that just the point?
Yes, but Mr. Vincent, what you told me I said, what I said, it was in my head, wasn't it? I mean, I thought of nothing else, minute by minute, hour by hour, day and night for days. Well, on thinking it over, it doesn't seem so very remarkable to me that I should have talked like that in my sleep. I mean, there's nothing that one can't quite well understand.
You want some proof that's unanswerable?
I don't think that's possible.
May I ask you rather a painful question?
Anything you like.
Will you tell me this? Have you seen the grave of this young girl since the burial?
No. I purposely kept away. Couldn't associate her with a graveyard. The girl I love isn't there on the ground.
There I agree. And has anyone said anything to you about it? The grave itself?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing at all.
Then will you listen to this, Mr. Beck? Tell Laurie that the ground has sunk a little above my grave. The cracks are showing. What have you got there? Notes taken during your trance? That knowledge wasn't in your head, was it, Mr. Baxter? You just said so. You know nothing about it. Well, all you've got to do is to find out if it's true. If it isn't, there's an end of it. But if it is,
I'm glad you told me, Laurie. It all sounds very mysterious. It is mysterious. But you were so much in love with her. And then to lose her for no reason. I understand.
No, you don't. You can't.
Oh, yes. Yes. I do. But you mustn't let yourself imagine things. You mustn't let it become an obsession. Laurie, I have no right to ask you or advise you. But please don't see this medium man again. Don't, please.
He said something that got under my skin. I wasn't showing enough endurance.
Well, perhaps he was trying to annoy you, in order that you should play into his hands.
Why should he? He's already given me proof. What I saw this afternoon told me that.
This afternoon wasn't proof, Laurie. After all, he could have gone to the churchyard a week ago and seen that the ground had sunk a little. He's using this in order to convince you. Laurie, try to be reasonable about this.
That's what I am being, reasonable. I've already had proof enough. From what he told me I said at the sales. Only I could have known that. And from what I've seen today.
Laurie, promise me not to go on with this.
Of course I'm going on with it.
Time did you tell Mr. Baxter we were meeting?
8 o'clock.
But it's past 8 now and he's not here.
Mr. Baxter will be here.
But he's late.
That doesn't surprise me. It was to be expected.
Well, I don't know how you can be so certain. Oh, really, Laura, dear, I don't think you ought to talk to Mr. Vincent like that.
Doesn't matter in the least how Lady Laura talks. What does matter is that we shouldn't get excited. Lady Laura, if you'll play something. There's something quiet. I suggest a nocturne.
Really, Mr. Vincent, I must say, I believe that for once you're wrong. I'm sure he's not coming.
Mr. Baxter.
I say I'm most awfully sorry.
No need to apologize.
You see,
No need to explain. You had some hesitation in coming here.
Well, yes, I got here just before 8, actually, but I've been walking up and down outside.
Very understandable, and I'm glad. No great decision was ever taken without a struggle. Now you've had this inner conflict and have made up your mind. You'll be with us with all the more determination. Sit down, Mr. Baxter. Go on playing, Lady Laura. Very quietly, please.
What's that?
A thermograph, an ordinary scientific instrument for recording the temperature of the room. We're not magicians, Mr. Baxter. We're seekers after the truth. Now, here's a very funny thing. Normally, with several people in a closed room, there'd be a slight rise in the temperature. But strangely enough, whenever there are any spirit manifestations, the temperature falls. The room gets colder. And that's a thing our materialistic scientific friends have never been able to explain. Yes, I always keep such a record. There. You see it's sealed? No one can tamper with it. Perhaps you'd like to have the key. Lady Laura, will you join us, please? Mr. Baxter, the piano stool. Thank you. Your music has a very soothing effect.
Thank you.
No, sit there. No need to be in the dark. The less light, the less distraction. You can see for yourself. Again, I must tell you, Mr. Baxter, that I don't guarantee anything happening. I should be a humbug if I did. Oh, and one other thing. The last time we four sat together, it was you, Mr. Baxter, having a very unusual response to things psychic, who went into a trance and were controlled. So you heard and saw nothing. I don't want that to happen again. If you feel any inclination to go into a sleep, you must fight it. Now, if you will let your minds relax. Lolly, it's me, Amy. I want to speak to you, Lolly, so as you can know it's me. Because I know how much you're thinking about me. I'm closer to you.
Now? Laurie, don't be unhappy. Because I'm not. I'm happy. Even though you're not here. You won't understand that. I can't stay any more now. I'm glad I could speak to you. Perhaps one day you'll see me. I don't want you to forget what I'm like. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Well?
Good morning, Benson.
Sorry, sir.
Now, look here, young man. This has got to stop.
Oh, it's gone too far.
Did you go to that business last night? Look here, my dear fellow, do try and be reasonable.
Reasonable? Was it reasonable that a young girl with all her life before her, everything should just come to a finish, just like that? Where's the reason?
But it's happened.
I'm not so sure of that.
Good heavens, Baxter, even supposing all the evidence was genuine, and it is something that science doesn't at present understand, there are half a dozen different possible explanations without assuming survival after death. For example, you know something of psychology, everybody does. You know that our minds are rather like icebergs, 1/10 above the surface and 9/10 under the surface. And the 9/10 under the surface has far more influence on us than we generally realize. Well, the explanation may lie somewhere there. We don't know. Science is still groping. And a wide field of research lies ahead. Now, Baxter, please allow the experts to get on with the job, and you amateurs leave it alone.
The next seance, Vincent is going to attempt complete materialization. I shall see her. And talk to her.
When is this?
Day after tomorrow.
Okay, I've got an old friend, a fellow called Cathcart.
Who?
Cathcart. We were at Trinity together. I haven't seen much of him since then. He took theology, not much in my line, but he's a thoroughly good sort. He took up spiritualism for years and dropped it like a hot plate. But he knows all there is to know about him. Like to meet him?
No.
You know, Baxter, this sort of thing plays the devil with the nerves. There's another fellow I knew took it up. Well, the end was what everybody knew it'd be.
Yes?
Went off his chump. Nasty mess all over the floor. Well, time for lunch. Cathcart? Morton, Trinity. Haven't seen you for 20 years. They told me I should find you here.
Every Wednesday. Taking kidney pudding.
Well, how are you?
Hungry. Do you want some?
No, thank you.
Oh. You want some claret?
No, thank you.
Coffee?
No, thank you.
Cigar?
No, thank you.
Then what do you want?
A word with you.
Oh.
I've got a pupil I'm rather interested in, and he's taken up spiritualism. Yes, I know you used to be dead against it. Well, it's not doing him any good. Nothing that I can say makes the smallest difference. So I wondered whether you'd be good enough to have a word with him. Unfortunately, he won't meet you.
Why?
I wonder if you'd care to drop in my rooms tomorrow evening about 6 o'clock. 10 Chancery Court, the Temple. Will you?
Yeah, I'll make a note of it.
Drop in quite casually, as if by accident. I don't want it to appear arranged.
No.
Come in, Cathcart. This is a pleasant surprise. Very good of you to look in.
Well, this is the night, isn't it? You said 6 o'clock, drop in casually, as if by chance. Well, you wrote it down.
Baxter, this is an old friend of mine, Cathcart. I believe I mentioned him to you the other night.
How do you do, sir?
Sit down, Cathcart.
No, thank you, no.
Except for running into each other at a restaurant yesterday, I don't suppose we've met for 20 years, have we?
Yeah. No. Sit down. So you're interested in spiritualism?
How do you know, sir?
Well, I suppose somebody must have told me.
Mr. Morton?
Well, now I come to think of it, I don't know who else it could have been.
And he wants you to persuade me to give it up.
Well, he did say something of the sort, didn't you, Morton?
Did I? I don't remember.
Oh, yes, you did. You were very definite about it. He doesn't like it any more than I do. And if he knew as much about it as I do, he'd like it even less.
Well, I'll be getting along, sir. I'll read the chapters you've marked and turn up tomorrow at the same time for notes. If you haven't seen one another for 20 years, you must have a lot to talk about. Good night, sir.
Good night.
Good night, Cathcart.
I have an idea that I'm an old fool.
Not so old, Cathcart. But I haven't been very clever about it myself.
There's something about that boy. Look in his eyes. Morton, he mustn't go on with this.
Hey, then what's the good of saying that to me? I got you here to say it to him.
When's the next seance?
Tomorrow, and I gather a most critical affair. An attempted materialization or some such hocus-pocus.
But it isn't hocus-pocus. That's the trouble. If it was, who'd bother about it one way or the other? Where is it?
Mrs. Stapleton.
I know the woman. At least I know of her. Who's the medium?
A certain Mr. Vincent.
Vincent? Vincent? By all that's holy and unholy, this has got to be stopped. It's got to be stopped.
Miss Hugh?
May I see you alone for a few minutes? Please.
Yes. Of course. But first, let me introduce you. This is Mr. Cathcart, Miss Hilton.
Are you a friend of Lottie Baxter's?
Yes. Miss Hilton's known Baxter for many years.
Fine. And I suppose you're wondering what's happened to Laurie.
Yes, I hope to find him here. Where is he? Where is he, please?
No. Just sit down. Just sit down. I suppose you're worried about Laurie and this spiritualism, hmm?
Mr. Cathcart and Mr. Morton, the last time I saw Laurie, I begged him not to go on with it. All he said was, of course I'm going on with it. That's why I'm here, to try and stop him from doing something which I feel is wrong.
Miss Hilton, we're just as worried about him as you are. In fact, we've been trying to prevent him attending another séance.
We don't want to hurt you further, but you might as well know the truth.
Apparently they're going to attempt materialization.
Yes, damn them. Forgive me, Miss Hilton, but damn them. Marching into danger. Marching into danger.
I'd do anything in the world to help him.
Yes. I know you would. But there's nothing you can do just now. There's a lot I can do. You must trust me. You love him?
Yes.
That's grand. That's magnificent. She loves him. We shall conquer. Believe with all your heart, and we shall conquer.
Oh, we'll leave the exact position till Mr. Vincent comes. Oh, you've handled this carefully?
As if it was my own coffin, Mark. Oh, pardon me, madam. The front door.
Oh, I'm out. You understand? Quite definitely out.
Quite definitely out, madam.
Mrs. Stapleton?
Mrs. Stapleton's out, sir.
That I know to be untrue.
I beg your pardon, sir, but Mrs. Stapleton is out.
My good man, in the same sense that Mrs. Stapleton is out, it may surprise you to learn that I am not here. Mrs. Stapleton, this is urgent.
Shall I show the gentleman the door, madam?
No, thank you, Gib. Well?
I'm afraid this must seem very odd.
It does. Extremely odd.
You must forgive me.
But I don't.
Only because things are so desperate, one must override ordinary social courtesies.
I haven't the least idea what you're talking about.
I'm aware of that. If you had, there'd be no difficulty. You'd do at once what I'm going to ask you to do.
I don't want you to ask me to do anything. Why, I don't even know who you are. Who are you?
That is a matter of no consequence whatever. Actually, my name is Cathcart, and I'm a lecturer in theology.
A clergyman?
Well, a kind of one.
Your manners, Mr. Cathcart, hardly do credit to your calling.
My calling, dear lady, matters little. But my beliefs do.
Your beliefs?
Yes, and it is because of them that I'm here. You are holding a séance here tonight.
Yes.
You are attempting materialization.
Yes.
And a certain young Mr. Baxter is to be present.
Yes.
I want you to forbid him to enter your house.
Really, Mr. Whatever your name is,
Mrs. Stapleton, I am sure you are a good woman. If you are mistaken in what you're doing now, so are we all, in one way or another. But I beg you to use your ordinary observance. You must see that the boy is breaking up under the strain of these séances.
But Mr. Vincent himself is so very interested in Mr. Baxter. He feels sure that it is more than chance that brought him into the circle.
Mrs. Stapleton, I am not concerned with what Mr. Vincent feels. I am concerned with the destruction of a human life. And if young Mr. Baxter attends this séance, as sure as you and I are talking here, he will be destroyed.
Really, Mr. I never can think of your name. You make things very awkward for me. I shall have to consult Mr. Vincent.
Vincent? I know Vincent. I knew him of old. We have been friends, but we are now mortal enemies. Of all people, Mr. Vincent would be the one man it would be disastrous to consult.
After many years, I never thought we should meet again.
I have even prayed, Mr. Vincent, that we should never meet again.
And your prayer has not been answered.
On the contrary, it was made plain to me that I had to meet you, just once more. Not quite the answer I expected, but a very direct answer. Dear lady, for 10 years I worked with Mr. Vincent. I came to the conclusion through my own personal experience that what he was doing, and is doing, to do tonight, is evil.
And I believe with the same utter conviction that what I am doing, and we may take a step further tonight, is to help draw aside veils, to reveal a new knowledge transcending all other knowledge, A knowledge of the immortal future. That to me is a religion just as yours is to you.
The devil can quote scripture.
The priest can obstruct progress. He often has.
Don't be a hypocrite, Vincent. You're exploiting this young man for your own purposes, and to his frightful danger.
Danger? Did the Crusaders shrink from crusading for fear of danger? What man of real faith considers danger?
But it's not you that are facing it. And if you are, it isn't that I'm worried about. You're deliberately sacrificing this boy.
And if I am, there are some sacrifices which must be made. Do you remember the doctor who took a few medical students to discover the cause of yellow fever into the infected areas? They let themselves be bitten by mosquitoes. They wrapped themselves in infected blankets. Some of them perished, but they discovered its cause and are ridding the world of its scourge. Their faith was not yours or mine, but it was a real faith, before which danger dwindles into nothing. Did that doctor consider the danger to his students? Maybe. But he knew the truth was greater than any of their lives. And he was right.
Their lives? Yes, their lives. But not their soul. He didn't sacrifice them.
Cathcart. Good evening, Mr. Stapleton. Good evening, sir.
Mr. Dexter, I came here to appeal to Mr. Stapleton that you should not be present at the séance tonight. I also made the same appeal to him. I make my last appeal to you. Come away with me now.
Mr. Stapleton, I must apologize. I've only met Mr. Cathcart once, and then only for a moment or two. I'm sure he means well, and I don't want to be rude, but this does seem the most unwarranted interference.
Oh, thank you. I'm afraid I must agree.
Yes, I suppose from your point of view that I had not seen them. Good night.
I do.
Oh, not at all. Shall we prepare? The lights.
I do mean to go through with this, sir. Nothing Mr. Cathcart said will make any difference.
Thank you. Lady Laura.
Good evening.
A word of warning, Mr. Dexter. Should anything from the other side appear in this room during the séance, you must on no account attempt to touch it. Consequences might be disastrous to you and to me.
I understand.
Now, will you help me with this chair? Oh, the curtains.
Amy! Amy!
I gather that Mrs. Baxter is not very well, so I thought it would be better if we met here in the grounds.
How is he, Mr. Cathcart? Did Did it happen?
The seance? Yes, it happened. I failed.
And Laurie?
Well, I called at his rooms this morning, and he refused to see me. But I discovered that he's coming here this afternoon. Now, Miss Hilton, what you must be prepared for is that Mr. Baxter may suddenly go out of his mind.
Out of his mind?
Steady. You took that very well. But it was essential that you should be warned.
Thank you. What can I do?
Well, I don't know. I can't tell you. Not now, just at the moment. You see, the thing may overwhelm him gradually or suddenly. Until we know that, neither of us can do anything. But for you, there's courage, love, and your own intuition. I've taken a room at the inn. I shall stay there. Telephone me if you want to, and you will, any hour of the day or night. But he mustn't know that I'm here. Not on any account. That might be fatal. So, goodbye, Miss.
Goodbye.
Remember, courage and love. Goodbye.
Hello, Laurie. Did you have
Hello, Diana.
Let me help you. How are you, Laurie? Do go up and see your mother. She's been asking for you for the last hour. I promise.
Master Laurie!
I rang, dear. I thought I heard Laurie's car.
Yes, he's here.
You told him I wanted to see him.
Yes. He's just gone into the garden.
Oh, well, I suppose he'll come and see me soon.
Of course, darling.
Dinner is served, miss.
Where's Mr. Laurie?
Well, I told him dinner was ready, but he didn't seem to hear. I don't know where he is now. Is anything wrong?
Why, what should be wrong? Yes, I'm afraid there is, Alice.
Can I do anything, please?
No, thank you.
It's 11 o'clock, miss. Shall I lock up?
Yes, thank you, Charlotte. But leave the front door open. I need to sit up for a while.
Shall I stay up with you, miss?
No, thank you, Charlotte. Just like Papa.
Good night, miss.
Hello? Hello? 2-5, please. Can I speak to Mr. Cathcart, please? Yes. Is that you, Mr. Cathcart? Can you come at once? Yes. He's wandering about the house. It isn't Laurie. I'm afraid. Yes, please.
Talking about me? I don't want you to talk about me. I just want to be left alone. Do you understand? Leave me alone!
Where can we talk?
Drawing.
You said it seemed as if it wasn't him that was wandering about this house. That's the truth. He is controlled and possessed by a spirit that is not his. A thing that has taken the form of Amy Nugent.
Amy Nugent? She wouldn't want to hurt him.
No, not she. But something that is evil. Wholly evil. Miss Hilton. It is utterly essential that you should understand. And yet, when one is talking of something outside our ordinary perceptions and meanings, words are very elusive, sometimes vague. Out of the infinitely mysterious void, beyond our knowing, has come a personality, strong, malignant, depraved, and whose purpose it is to deprave. Laurie is extraordinarily sensitive to the influences he's been submitting himself to. And this evil has taken its opportunity to seize upon the boy's soul in the disguise of the dead girl and is seeking now to possess it and destroy it. That may sound fantastic, but the truth is fantastic. You must believe it.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to believe. I only know that Laurie is ill, and I want to help him. And you want to help him, and I'm grateful.
Never mind about that. Where is he now?
He overheard me telephone.
Yes?
He stormed at me. It was awful. Then he left. He's gone into the library.
I must go to him.
Are you sure? He said he wanted to be left alone.
Who said he wanted to be left alone? Laurie or the thing that's in him? Remember, your Laurie is still there, struggling underneath and needing help. If he's left alone now, he will be possessed altogether, and the Laurie you know will be destroyed. Show me the library.
I shall come too.
Come. Better leave this to me.
No.
You. You. Get out of here. Get out!
In the name of the...
Stop that. Stop it! If you speak another word, if you make another sound, I'll put my hand round your neck and you never speak anymore.
Have you?
Conquer?
Please leave me alone with him.
But one false word, one false step.
I have never meant anything so much in all my life. Do you remember? Courage and love.
Yes, you're right. Courage and love. Yes.
Laurie. Laurie. You're very ill. Do you understand?
I'm all right.
No, you're not all right. And I've come to help you all I can. Will you do your best? I'm speaking to you, Laurie. To you. And I want you to listen very carefully and to trust me. You can't fight alone. Just hold on to me as tightly as you can with your mind. Do you understand?
I'm all right.
I'm Diana. Do you remember?
Yes. Diana?
You do trust me, don't you? You can believe what I say. Well, I want you to fight. You and I together. Will you let me do what I can?
You better take care. What are you doing?
Praying.
I thought so. Well, you'd better take care. You mean to go on praying?
Yes,
You think it'll do any good?
yes.
Well, I warned you.
I'm not afraid. Laurie, I'm not frightened anymore. Not for myself. Only for you. I don't know if you can hear me or if you're listening. But I want to help you with everything that's in me. Because I love you. I never thought I'd say that to you. I remember telling your mother I never would. Lots of people love you, Laurie. But I want you to know that someone loves you specially. More than anything in the world.
I had to tell you. Laurie, do you know, love casts out fear.
Diana. It's morning.